Yeah, good morning all. My sincere apology. I don't know what happened. I connected to a meeting in one of our scheduled meetings in the Zoom room, in the Zoom meeting room instead of the webinar. My sincere apology. We had a great time this morning. We have done about 10-15 minutes. I was wondering why nobody connected. I was wondering if the world is still in place or has rapture taken place. God forbid. You know, it was very unusual, very, very unusual, very, very unusual. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up our presenter for this morning. Are we ready? All right, we have our own dear Deputy Registrar, Mr. Laide Akoni, who is ready to take us through our segment this morning on business management skills training. I hope you're ready. Once again, apology. Many of you missed the prayer meeting of this morning. We had a prayer meeting for 10 minutes, but it was on the meeting room. And every other person on people, except people who are on YouTube that enjoyed it because we were still able to stream it. So welcome with me quickly, our Deputy Registrar, Ms. Laide Akoni. So Laide, please, can you come on? You're muted, ma.
Oh, morning, everyone. Okay, good morning, everyone. I believe you can hear me. Good morning, sir. You know, I was thinking about what just happened and the importance of connections. So imagine you being in the meeting all by yourself and wondering, where is everybody else? You know, and it speaks very closely to my topic for today's discussion, which is about leveraging connections. So I would like to share my screen and talk about something that's very important, which is about leveraging connections in the work that we do, in everything that we do. But I'm going to start with a short story. I'm trying to share my screen. Oh, okay. I need rights to be able to share the screen because only the host can share right now. But while we wait for that to happen, I'm just going to tell you a short story about a friend of mine and the importance of leveraging connections. I'm sure that all of us are counting down to finishing the program, you know, so that we can go about our business and go about all the things that we need to do. And yes, it's really important. I'm sure we're like, I can't wait. I only have 3 or 4 days left, you know, before this program is over. But yes, even if the program is over, your work is not done. In fact, when the skills program is over, then your own work begins, because now you need to put into practice all the skills that you have learned, all the things that you have acquired over the past 7 or 8 days. Now you need to put it in practice, and now you'll be in the real world on your own, trying to make things happen for yourself. And I know that the grace of God is more than sufficient for you as you do that. But very quickly to my story. So I have a friend who started out a business early this year. And before she started out the business, we got talking, and she bounced a few business ideas off me. And I also discussed with other colleagues. And, the feedback we gave to her was, this business idea won't fly right now because of the state of the economy, and because people's priorities are probably different from what you want to do. And so you need to think about another business idea. And she said, okay, yeah, I'm going to think about another business idea. And she brought forth a business idea, which was good. And we said, oh, this is great and all of that. This will work. And one of the things she said was, oh, because she has limited resources now, she's going to exit the WhatsApp group that we belong to, because we all belong to an alumni, a school alumni WhatsApp group. And she said, oh, she was going to exit the WhatsApp group because, she doesn't really have enough money for data and all of that. And so she's trying to conserve her resources. And somebody in the group had said, if you exit the group, then you're isolating yourself and you're limiting your chances of being helped. Eventually, she was added back to the group. And in the course of being added back to the group, she got to talk about what her concerns, her challenges are. And we got somebody within the group who was able to link her up with some finances which she could start off with. And she was able to start her business. Now, when she started her business, she also reached out to us to say, oh, please help me talk about my business, help me at least create an awareness among members of the group. And I said, no, I wasn't going to do that for you. It's your business, and you have to start to talk about your business and have to create an awareness about your business. And she did. And eventually, people started patronizing her, and people started reaching out to her to say, I want this, I want that. And the business is moving on. But one of the things that I found very interesting about her and her experience is the fact that, oh, somebody was asking, who am I? Oh, okay. Is the fact that, she did not only leverage on her network to ensure that she created awareness about her business, she was also constantly asking for feedback, about the product from her network, asking, oh, I have this, I'm doing this, how is it going? What do people think? Give me feedback about my business. And it's very important that, as we talk about my topic, which is leveraging networks, it's important for us to realize that, we have connections in our lives for a purpose. So God has put in place connections in our lives for a particular purpose. And we must utilize those connections to the best of our ability, to the best of our advantage. And why must we, and so because these connections are in our lives, we must be deliberate about how we utilize these connections. So my topic today is about leveraging networks. And you may ask yourself, what is a network? I imagine that we all know what a network is, but it's important to know that, a network is there for us to leverage on, not just because we have a need. It's not just when I need something that I need to go to my network. My network is there for me to leverage on when I have a need, but I also have a place or a role to play in contributing to that network. So yes, we are here now, we're learning a skill, and in a couple of days, we'll be done with the skill. So what do I do with that skill? Am I going to utilize that skill by myself? The goods that I produce, am I going to utilize it by myself? No, I have to share with other people. I have to connect with other people to ensure that they can benefit and enjoy the value that I am producing. But if I don't connect with them, if I don't make it a deliberate habit, or if I don't spend time inquiring from them, getting to know from them, what do they need? How do they need it? How do they perceive my service? this is what I am doing. If I am not deliberate about connecting with people to share what I do or how I do it or the value that I am providing, nobody is going to patronize me. And it's also important to note that the networks that we have, God has given us for a purpose. So I talked about my alumni group, so we're all in various groups. Maybe it's your secondary school mates or an association that you belong to or a group that you belong to. That's your first network. What are you doing with that network? How are you connecting with the people on that network to discuss about what you do, to share information about what you do, to share information about the services that you offer? Sometimes we are thinking, oh, the big connection that we need is way off or is far off. But there's a proverb that says that what you're looking for in Sokoto is in your pockets. So sometimes the connections that we need or the businesses ideas or the leverage that we need is right in our circle. But if we don't effectively utilize that circle, if we don't effectively tap into the benefits of that circle, we will not be able to enjoy the benefits of that network. So the first thing I want us to emphasize is the fact that we need to be deliberate about making connections. Making connections is not haphazard. So if you say, oh, I want to leverage on my network, it takes you being deliberate to ask yourself, who are the people I want to connect with? Where are they? Are they in particular groups? Are they in particular social media platforms? Are they in particular locations? How do I connect with them? Do I need to go to specific places? Do I need to talk to them? Do I need to reach out to them? Do I need to connect with them on a personal level? I don't know how many of you have, gone to places where people are distributing flyers. And sometimes you ask yourselves, are these flyers really effective? Because yes, they distribute 1,000 flyers in an event, but how many people take the time to read through those flyers or to actually focus on what the flyers are saying or to follow through with, a business contact because of those flyers? Most of the time, most of us will rather prefer one-on-one connections or connections with individuals in a very private way. So oftentimes, the flyers don't cut it for many of us. And that's why it's important that, right now, even as we are in this training program, there are people that you are interacting with on your groups, on your various Telegram groups. There are people that you have met. There are people that you have linked up with. How are you going to explore these connections after this program? These connections are not just connections that you're like, oh yeah, I've met you, great to meet you, bye. We need to be deliberate about cultivating these connections because we never know how these connections will be useful either now or in the future. So my first point is about being deliberate, about making those connections. The second thing is about really connecting with people. And I'm going to share a story about the lady, my hairdresser, the lady where I make my hair, the salon where I make my hair. One of the things that she does, which I find very interesting, is that on a regular basis, she's checking up on you. And she's asking, Auntie, how are you doing? How are things? We haven't seen you in a while in our salon. And even though sometimes you don't want to go there, because of the connection that she's built over time with her customers, clients keep coming back. And I realize that I'm not the only one. Oftentimes I meet other ladies in the salon who say, oh, you are your trouble, you are your wahala, which means that she's always reaching out to them, always checking up on them. And every time you meet her, she greets you warmly like, oh, we're family. So this is one person who has taken time to connect. And my going to that salon, I pass other salons on the way to her salon. I pass several other salons. I don't stop there. And I've been going to the salon for close to 10 years. Why? Because of this one person, because of the connection that she has established, because she's been deliberate about reaching out to her customers. So it's beyond, I make your hair and you look nice and you're done. No, it's about, oh, how are you doing? Checking up on you. When are you going to make your hair next? How are things with you? So you just always like find yourself in a default mode going to her salon because you think you've built this connection over time and you really want to keep going back. So it's really important that as we think about these connections, we're seeing connections not just as people that we're going to use, we're seeing them as human beings, we're seeing them as people that God has brought into our lives for a particular purpose, and we need to be deliberate about reaching out to them. Appreciate your connections, appreciate the people in your lives. They may be your family members, they may be your friends. Speak about them. If yes, you're interested in marketing your business or marketing your product or marketing your service, but sometimes people ask you, to give a recommendation about another service. Don't think like, oh, this is not, it doesn't concern me, so why should I bother? You never know where your business will be required. So I've met several friends. I've come across several people who tell me, oh, somebody introduced me to this person, and as a result of my being introduced, I was also able to bring my friend in to offer a particular service. So never underestimate the value that you are placing in other people's businesses and in other people's lives. Never underestimate the recommendation that you give to people, because as you give that recommendation to people, it's they say what goes around comes around. They will also come back to recommend you, particularly if your service is good or your goods are good. So again, don't assume that, oh, because I recommended somebody in the past, they're going to recommend me as well. You also have to ensure that you're doing things the right way. You're given to continuous improvement. And I talked about my friend who started a business some months back, and one of the things I've noticed about her, which is a very important thing in networking and connecting with people, is her desire and her quest for continuous improvement. So she keeps asking, oh, how did you find my product? What do you think I can improve on? What would you like to tell me? What can I say? And I remember that on the group, somebody had asked a question that, oh, okay, you produce this. What about this? Do you produce this as well? And within the next 2 weeks, she had come up with a pack saying, oh, yes, now I make this. So anybody who needs this, please reach out to me. So I see that as somebody who is taking continuous feedback from her clientele, from her network, and seeking to improve. So as you're connecting with people, continue to improve, because it's the customers, it's your connections that will help you improve. You don't have all of the knowledge. Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. Nobody has a monopoly of wisdom. But as we leverage on these connections, they help us to improve. The Bible says that iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. We all need friends. We need people who will sharpen us. We need people who would, look at things that are maybe in our blind side and are able to tell us, oh, you need to improve on this. Why don't you tweak this a bit? Why don't you do this a bit differently? Why don't you add this? Why don't you add this flavor? Why don't you change this a bit? Why don't you change this color? So these connections are really important and we need to value them. The other thing that is important for us as we're leveraging on our connections is we need to ensure that we never judge a book by its cover. Sometimes you see people, or sometimes you connect with people and you're thinking in your mind, oh, I'm not sure this person is going to be of benefit to me. I'm not sure this person will access my product. I'm not sure this person will utilize my product. You never know. You really never know. So never judge a book by its cover. And I know that sometimes, some of us are wary of connections because we feel like, oh, people have hurt us in the past. People have, we've been hurt by people. Things have happened because we were always connecting with people. We were friendly. We were reaching out and all of that. But it's important in this phase of our lives that we remember that burning bridges is not going to help us. And what do I mean by burning bridges? Okay, so somebody has offended you, somebody has hurt you in the past, a connection, a business partner has done you wrong. Yes, we need to be wise. We need to be discerning, but don't burn bridges. Never say never. Never say, oh, that is the last time I'm going to patronize this person. That is the last time I'm going to do business with this person. That is the last time I'm going to offer a service to this person. Because sometimes, yeah, people make mistakes. People wake up on the wrong side of the bed. People say things that they don't mean to say. People do things to hurt you. But it's important that we're also sensitive to where God is leading us to and where we are at each step of our lives, in each area of our lives. So we must realize that burning bridges is not the way to go. We must consciously make ways of expanding our connections. And that's my fourth point. Consciously make ways of expanding your connections. So don't throw away contacts. Don't exit groups because you feel, oh, what are they saying in this group? Look, somebody has annoyed me in this group, and so I'm out. Don't be the person that has the shortest fuse. Don't be the person that you can't listen, you can't pay attention. Don't be the person that we always have to tell you, auntie, calm down, uncle, calm down. You need to always be calm and listen to people. Be a listener, because sometimes it's in the listening that ideas on how to improve, ideas on how to do things better are birthed in your heart. Sometimes, like I mentioned, we don't have all of the information. We don't have all of the knowledge. We don't have all of the wisdom. And sometimes it's just one word from one person that's going to make the difference in how we do things. That's going to make that connection. Yes, the Bible says that, the steps of the good man are ordered by God. God will order your steps. But he's going to order your steps to people. He's not going to order your steps to angels. He's not going to order your steps to invisible beings. He's going to order your steps to human beings. And those human beings are the ones that are going to help you. So it's important that in every area of our lives, as we think about growing this business, as we think about growing this skill that we have come to Dsap to learn, it's also important that we cultivate people's skills. Because in the final analysis, you can't go far without people. No man is an island. If we were islands, I'm sure that God will give us God would have given us our own separate planets to dwell in. So maybe I would be on planet Mars, and maybe Pastor Paul will be on Saturn, and we will all be on our own different planets doing our own different things. But God has brought us here on planet Earth for a purpose, and you're in Dsap for a purpose. So start from there. Start from your family, start from your friends, start from your association, start from the people that you know. Connect from there. Some of us don't like connecting in big crowds, but start one person at a time. And you never know how far those connections will take you. I know that there might be questions, and so I'm going to open up to ask if there are questions in the chat box, and if there are any other issues. I actually had a slide presentation, but for some reason, I'm not able to share my slide presentation. But I just wanted to wrap up on that note to say, look, whatever you learn from Dsap, remember this: connections are key, and we need to be deliberate about leveraging on our connections to be able to take our business to that next level, to that greater height that we are anticipating. You made a deliberate effort to come to Dsap because you wanted to learn a skill. Now, to grow that skill, to grow that business, you need to connect with people. So you need to be deliberate about those connections as you go forward. And I pray that God, as you go forward, God will bring the right connections into your life. In fact, they're already around you. So it's important to ask God to open your eyes to those connections, to open your eyes to how you can leverage on these connections. But remember, you're not connecting with people just because you want to sell your product or just because you want to sell your service. It's because you want to add value to their lives. And when you see that it's because of adding value, you're going to see people beyond the numbers. You're going to see people beyond, oh, this is a prospect. You're going to see that person as a human being that I want to add value to, as a human being that can add value to my life, as a human being that can help me to deliver on, or improve on my goods and services, as a human being that God can utilize to connect me to the next human being, to the next human being, to the next human being. We're made for connections. We're made for networks. We're made for connections, but it's important that we leverage those connections effectively to the glory of God and to the benefit of humanity. And my prayer for you is that, God will open your eyes to those connections that you need to work with, those connections that you need to cultivate, those connections that you need to build up. And as you connect with people, on a one-on-one basis, on a general basis, God will open your eyes to ideas. Those connections will be of benefit to you. They will be of mutual benefit to you, and they will help you to grow your business to the next level. In Jesus' name, amen. Over to you, Pastor Paul. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Sister Lide. It's sorry, I almost got carried away because I was also very busy writing. What an awesome way, really. I did so much today, and I connected with only myself on this platform. Thank God for YouTube. I would have been alone. I would have done my business just alone. It's good. So I just learned that, I came in from somewhere and I was just so much in a hurry to get things started. I wanted us to pray. The Lord has spoken to me before that He wanted us to resume that prayer. We used to do it when we used to have on-site sessions. So I just started up my system. My network was very slow. The day it will rain, it will just pour. And in the process of trying to do that, I just got to the place, instead of clicking on webinar, I click on meeting. And that took me to an entirely different world. I was in a world that only me was dwelling. Nobody else has the access to that room where I was. In fact, can I surprise you? It was even a future meeting. It's a meeting that I was supposed to hold tomorrow that I held today for 15 minutes. So what is all about connection that is very critical to you? I was busy writing as Sister Lide was speaking. It's very easy to just miss it, and it's very easy to just make it. I tell people that your network equals your net worth. If I know those around you, if I know where you feature, if I know where you go, I can almost predict your financial state as a financial analyst. I can almost predict. Okay, so thank you very much, Ma. Once again, I hope yes, thank you for all the hands up, all the thumbs, all the appreciation. Okay, for Sister Lide. All right, we are about to move to the classes right now. And I want to remind us again that Friday is our date for our feedback and evaluation report filling. It is very critical, and your PMS will tell you, if they've not told you, that until everybody has done, I will not send that skill certificate. It is your right to do it. It's also my right to release a certificate. So why is it that important to me? Because we want to know how much to improve for next diet. Many of you who have been in Dsap before now will say that this diet maybe was better organized because we continue to improve. In Dsap, we are a student of continuous improvement, and ditto Dsap. So thank you very much. So I want to announce it formally now. The Lord whispered that into my ears yesterday while I was on air. Why did we stop praying? Why didn't we start praying online like we used to pray? Because God was answering many prayers. God was touching many people. He was healing many who just simply came to learn. They came with sicknesses that have stayed with them for several years. Many of them, there were people who started Dsap, and they ended up leaving Dsap because the job they had applied for sometime 3-4 years They just called them for interview. There was a particular lady that before she left, came back, and then a job interview that was supposed to take about 3-4 months. They did it in 3 days. She returned to share the testimony before eventually going, because she had to resume with an NPC the very Monday following. Okay, so please, if you have an issue in your life you want to table before God, I invite you to come. 10-15 minutes. Okay, just like say, if you are there 9:35, 9:40, just get ready. 9:35, 9:40, just get ready. We will sign in, pray for 10-15 minutes, and then make our announcement before we bring up the next presenter. Again, I also want to tell us, tomorrow and next tomorrow, please don't miss the assembly, because we're going to have, in all these 3 days, today, tomorrow, and next tomorrow, we're going to spend them studying more on our business management skills training. Okay, our pastors will return to us on Friday. All right. Thank you once again, Sister Lide, and God bless you all. So see you guys in class. God bless.